Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rudy Page, and welcome to our Global Diaspora Dialogue. And I'm really pleased today. We're going to be speaking with Mark Milward, Executive Producer, the Jamaica Diaspora Show, on location in Africa. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon, Rudy. How are you?
I am well. Great to see you once again. Last time we actually met was in Connecticut.
It's true.
It seems a long time ago since I was over there.
Yeah, but we've been talking, so
Yeah.
it's to me it's pretty consistent with our
Yeah.
communications. But I'm glad to finally come on to your show, and thank you for having me.
Great. And just to let everybody know, this show will also be rebroadcast on Fresh FM Radio London as well as the Jamaica Diaspora Show as well. So Mark, what's brought you to Africa?
I've always wanted to come to Africa.
I'm glad you arrived.
Yes, I am so privileged to have been able to make this trip. I got an invite to look at an agricultural project that, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see that project. The person that invited me, his father fell ill, and so we had to cancel that. I did, however, have an opportunity to discover some things, that just fell in my lap while I was here. So I arrived originally in Kenya, and my host is a friend of mine that I've known for well over 20 years. She has been a very gracious host and has toured me throughout Africa. I'll say from Kenya to Arusha to Bagamoyo, from Bagamoyo back to Arusha, and then back to Kenya. So I got a chance to go to a few places and met a few people that were not in my original plans.
Okay. So is this actually your first trip to Africa as a whole?
Yes, indeed. Yes, it is.
Oh, excellent. You're over in the East.
Right.
Okay.
And I certainly see, and I just have to add to that. This is my first trip to Africa, but I go to Jamaica in fact, that's where we met. Yes. Quite often. Yeah. And just immediately my first impression, I saw a lot of the similarities.
Yeah.
Between Africa and Jamaica.
Yes, well, we are the African diaspora, aren't we? Us Caribbeans.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Indeed. So how have you found the people that you've met and interacted with?
Well, that's an interesting question. Okay, because I've met two sets of people: the businessmen, and the artists. Because I visited an arts college, but so let me tell you, I met with a businessman who is in a milk production business, and his attorney. And I just found people, the people that I've met, to be soft-spoken first and foremost. Both the business person and the artist, soft-spoken and quite intelligent. But those are the initial overall personality type of impressions that I get, because I'm loud and I'm aggressive and I'm, my voice projects, and they're just, that's basically, my overall impression is polite, soft-spoken, has been my insight there.
So what is it that kind of struck you creatively in terms of the College of the Arts, in terms of visually,
well,
to what you're used to in the US?
Well, I have an arts background. 7 years I spent in a cultural arts organization, and I was in visual arts. I was in dance. I was in theater.
Right.
So I've never really left that world.
Yeah.
I continue as a graphic artist, but only for my own flyers and for my own publications. Artists to me, it's such a universal attitude that I receive when I engage with an artist, because one of the things that we always reflect on is our openness, and our need to be open and to be honest and with our feelings and with our thoughts, and eager to share and eager to learn. So that, and then the people the artists that I met at Bagamoyo College of the Arts, besides the instructors, I spent most of my time with the students, and so they were a lot of fun, and they were but they were even more eager to inquisitive, because I had all my camera equipment with me. I had 4 or 5 cameras, and the first day I was there, I filmed a dance class, and that's where I met not just the dancers, but the TV film production students who were eager to use my equipment. So by the next day, I had a full crew, and I was just directing on how to use the equipment, because that's one thing that I was glad that I was able to share with them, is that I had 4 or 5 cameras, and I allowed them to, and they were just having a great time using it. So
and I can imagine creativity from a creative perspective then, but also what you're alluding to, obviously there's sound as well. So in terms of sound and vision, I mean, were you able to create any particular pieces that you can take back to the States now or share when you get back with colleagues?
The rehearsals that I attended, there was singing and dancing. The African cat calls. There was a number of them that were very very good with that, and so I did record some segments that I intend to use on the Jamaica Diaspora show. When I do the Jamaica Diaspora show, I do commercial breaks, and I intend to feature segments of the rehearsals that I saw, and also a couple of the students that I met were visual artists, and they sent me some of their paintings that I plan to air on my show, and also the master dance instructor and master drummer, I want to say his name correctly, Shaban Mbada, who was a master drummer. When I was leaving, he, after his drumming class, he got together with a group of his drummers, and had a jam session that I'm going to also share on the show. It was
I would imagine that was exhilarating.
It was indeed.
I can
In fact, Bagamoyo the town is known internationally for the
Okay.
Bagamoyo Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I intend to go. It's in October of every year. And the school is a big participant in that festival.
Yeah.
It was certainly a treat that I got to see that, and I'll share that with the audience on the Jamaica Diaspora show.
Okay. Okay. Great. So what are you planning for next month's National Caribbean American Heritage Month in the USA?
Okay.
And do you intend to invite anybody from Africa to participate?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that was the gold nugget,
Yeah.
that I found, just being here.
Mm.
I mean, first of all, it was by accident that I even, you know, made a connection with the college. We came, and, and found a hotel the night we arrived. We had no planned place where we were going to stay. And it just so happened that I mentioned to the bartender at the hotel if there was any art schools around, and he said, "Yeah, there's one right up the street." Okay,
Yeah.
5 minutes from here.
Yeah.
And he knew the instructor, and it was on a Sunday. And immediately within an hour, I was over there, and being introduced and being invited to come to the class.
Mm-hmm.
So what I intend to do is for National Caribbean American Heritage Month, we've already established the fact that we're going to do a collaborative forum on the creative economy, and we're going to include Bagamoyo College of the Arts with Edna Manley School of the Performing Arts in Kingston, Jamaica, and also the national chair for National Caribbean American Heritage Month is Dr. Claire Nelson, who is located in Washington, D.C. She's an adjunct professor at Morgan State University, and she wanted to perhaps include Morgan State, and she also suggested to include institutions in Barbados and in Trinidad. So we would have a group of artistic arts institutions talking about the creative economy. Now, I want to add too that I was educated on the significant contribution that the creative arts produces in the economy, and we often don't realize and take for granted that we don't see it so much as being the significant contributor to the economy in terms of dollars, in terms of monies being poured into communities, but it is quite significant, and so we want to highlight that. Something like festivals and these major cultural events, that brings a significant amount of dollars into a community, and certainly festivals. In New York, in fact, in May, we have Dance Africa every year. That is a major cultural event that takes place at Brooklyn College, and it's an annual event. And I think for the past year or 2 years, it hasn't been live, but I think this year it's going to be live.
Yeah, and as you say, the creative and cultural industries are an important part of any economic development, especially locally. The skills that it brings, the legacy to it, and the use of intellectual capital. As you know, we have Reggae Global and Culture, and we ran some creative economy forums because of the whole supply chain and the use of traditional knowledge, indigenous knowledge is really, really important, because the term, as we always say, is that commerce follows culture.
Right. Because a
It's
person,
really
when
important.
a person, just for a person to go to the theater,
Yeah,
you know, they might buy an outfit. You know, they have to put gas in the car.
exactly.
You know, they have to pay for parking. They're going to tip the waiter. You know, they're going to go out to eat.
Yeah.
You know, all of these different extensions, you know, get some of that money that, you
Yeah.
know, for the person just go to the theater.
You know, as we say, collaboration is great. You know,
Yeah.
we say it all the time. And
Exactly.
creative industries, you know, music, dance, all those
So,
skills that are needed.
right.
And the advantage we've got now is in this digital age, in terms of being innovative and creative, it can be done online. I mean, last year we did
Sure.
an online arts festival for young people with Soweto.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really good. So I'm pleased to hear you say that you're going to do that next month.
Yes.
We have an interest in terms of Kenya here. We've got
Mm-hmm.
Bishop Francis Wahenya, Pastor Elijah Wandera. They're from Kenya. We've got a special service next month, and I think it would be nice. We'll include a bit of Kenyan performance from your team as well, but we'll discuss that. I think that'd be a good connection. And of course, we'll be collaborating next month anyway, once again, in terms of from the UK perspective on.
And we have to figure out what we're going to do there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So Mark, so what business opportunities did you see for yourself and, you know, overall in your exploration?
Not just in the arts, you know,
Beyond the arts.
I am a trainer in a business discipline called Lean Six Sigma, which is a strategic business application that is focused on improving process efficiency and effectiveness in organizations, regardless of industry. It is a discipline that is focused entirely on streamlining a process, and I'm saying any process, with it's a business process in the manufacturing industry, in the medical and healthcare industry, in the aerospace industry, telecommunications industry, any type of business or even educational process.
So in this pandemic era, where there's got to be a lot of retraining, particularly around digital skills, I mean, how are you applying that learning to communities and small SMEs?
All right. So wholly, the discipline is focused on improving a process.
Yeah.
And in this digital age, you know, and in you know, trying to address efficiency factors, we're looking at areas where we can enhance an activity that was, let's say, manual, okay, or cumbersome, and utilizing, the digital technologies, even as an example, even in telemedicine, you know, for example, you know, we go to the doctor, we have to go to the doctor, you know, we have to physically go. But, you know, and especially during this pandemic period, there's been a lot of telemedicine going on because, first of all, the doctors didn't want to see anybody, okay? And, you know, a lot of times when we go to a doctor, I mean, yeah, they'll take our blood pressure and everything, you know, but in many cases, you know, that can be done remotely. And in this case, with the pandemic, it has been. Here, I also just by chance had an opportunity to meet a doctor who is working with the Minister of Health in Tanzania, who is working, on improving, I'll just say overall, because I don't have the detail, I'll say overall,
Yeah.
improving the healthcare delivery. And part of it includes telemedicine.
Oh, okay.
Part of it is his focus is on the fact that I would call him a revolutionary type of doctor, in the sense that he's not bought into the COVID-19 vaccination. Okay, he's one of those that's opposed to the vaccinations. We have doctors that are not buying into that.
Well,
he's one of them.
Lucky we're not covering COVID today.
Yeah, and I don't want to cover it, but and he also is focused on driving medicine, focused on the needs of the patient versus, how medicine is.
Yeah. So he's focused on the immune system.
No, yeah, well, yeah, but what I'm alluding to here is, when I say he's a revolutionary type of doctor, traditionally, medicine, the way it's being practiced, it is coming from the position, or from being, whereas medicine is being primarily facilitated on behalf, I would say, on behalf of the pharmaceutical industry.
So we're back to prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
And self-care, self-management, which obviously in this era is something that people really do have to.
But then there's also that view that medicine is being promoted by the pharmaceuticals.
But isn't that what it means in terms of traditional herbs, traditional remedies?
That's
prevention is better than cure. I mean,
true.
What we want more people to do is to keep out of the health system, so that there's some behavior change needed by all of us,
right?
But not to get sick.
But the conventional medicine is, like strongly, the remedies or the treatments are strongly advocated by the pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
They're driving the medicine. Whereas, so in other words, if you got a cure for cancer, they're not going to promote that.
Well, you're going to have to apply Lean Six thinking to traditional herbal remedies and influencing behavior change. But anyway, it's I understand what you're saying. But you're also chairman for the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers International Outreach for Engineering Lean Six Sigma, held each year in the US. So can you tell us a bit more what's happening with that now?
Okay, so we're having our conference in Atlanta, September. I want to say the date is 21st to the 23rd. And we have this conference every year. It's an Engineering Lean Six Sigma conference. It's an international conference. And I just want to say that 80% of the conference is focused on process improvements in the healthcare industry. There are other workshops that are provided other than hospital administration facilitations, but overall the responsibilities I have as chairman for international outreach, and I have specific areas. I have the Caribbean, all of the Caribbean, and I have all of Africa. And so one of the things that I'm trying to do now in Africa is to merge into the education realm, into the healthcare realm, and introduce the Lean Six Sigma workforce development principles, because it's all about developing a workforce that can apply these skills to be more efficient, to be more effective, because you can.
Absolutely, because you're now moving to the area of lifelong learning, lifelong skills, and particularly in this pandemic era, we have to look at what we call the 21st century skills of collaboration, creativity,
I had to get 2 COVID
thinking.
tests. I had to get a test
Yeah.
to go to Tanzania, and I had to get one to come back. And it was so cumbersome, the process.
Yeah.
It was practically a manual effort all the way.
Exactly.
And we could have, I had so many ways of which I said, well, I could have streamlined this, the process of handling the transaction, because a lot of things is transactional,
yeah.
And there's a lot of ways you can improve transactions.
Good. So hopefully you'll create a case study from it, given it's lived experience. It's a lived experience. You've lived it, and then to create a case study, and that would be something we would definitely be interested in helping to promote, because my next question really for you is around the role of the diaspora, the wider African diaspora, because we're currently in a period of time known as the International Decade for People of African Descent, which is a UN program. It has 3 core program activities around recognition, justice, and development. And of course, we're seeing homecoming events all around the world in terms of Africa. Ghana's probably done the most successful of recent times. So do you see opportunities for the wider African diaspora?
Yes.
Whether it's the UK, US, Canada, or where, Latin America, in terms of what you've seen these last few days you've been in Africa?
Well, yeah. Okay. So we're talking about development, but here is that aspect that I wanted to add to the I want to say advocacy of workforce development.
Yeah.
Okay. And economic development. I want to tie workforce development with economic development.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because the human capital.
Yeah.
We're in a knowledge-based economy.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we need these knowledge-based skills.
Absolutely.
And we need to integrate these skills and this discipline into our colleges and universities here in Africa.
Yeah.
And because I started this effort in Jamaica, and I've been stalled as a result of the pandemic. However, I just want to say that in the United States, 80 to 85% of the colleges and universities have, the process improvement disciplines in their college curriculums. You can get a degree in it.
I mean, okay. and it's this knowledge and the use of knowledge that's the economy. And also the other important thing, of course, Africa has the African Continental Free Trade Area. Mm-hmm. So the whole boost in the economy, as you said, workforce development, knowledge,
knowledge-based economy.
The knowledge-based economy, that's what that's all about. So again, there's all this experience from across the diaspora, which really should be seeing the continent as the market opportunity,
Right. Because we and a lot of the talk when we talk about STEM, we talk
Absolutely.
about
you better say exactly what STEM is for those who may not know.
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics disciplines. Okay, these are 4-year disciplines.
Yeah.
Okay, we need an accelerated approach.
Yeah.
And the discipline, of continuous process improvement and Lean Six Sigma strategies, that is a discipline that can be taught in a fraction of the time.
Yeah.
As a hiring manager, I've had to hire, young engineers coming out of college, but 4 years of college, and they really don't know how to do anything. You have to, you then have to train them to apply the same skills and principles, and you have to develop them, after that 4 years of training. When you take a person in the areas of workforce development, where we're focused on developing those skills, developing problem-solving skills, developing analytical skills. We could do that in a fraction of the time, and we go directly to the need.
And
not a lot of theory.
Yeah, and that goes back to my earlier point about the 21st century skills that are essential. And just to reiterate for everybody, being collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, but also, Mark, essential going forward in terms of more productive and inclusive economies. We're now talking about more women in terms of SMEs and making use of their skills. And of course, young people, succession planning, given the demographic change as well, as you know. So what are your thoughts about that? And I know you have an interest in the development of young people. What are your thoughts around that for the future in these disciplines?
Can you be more specific?
So in terms of translating the experience that you have, that you would bring into a developing economy, and given that the developing economies need the 21st century skills because they have a high level of young people. So it's how that's introduced. How do you build relationships? How would it work? The type of programming. So I guess it would be the type of event that you do in the US, the conference, the symposium with all the workshops. Are you thinking of doing that type of thing there in Kenya? In terms of, because knowledge transfer is challenging, because you've got to go through structures, systems, you've got to create pathways to inclusion.
So I think I know what you're talking about. I think you're talking about having a conference and putting together something that can draw people and meet the needs of young people. Yeah, I think that would work. I think
train the trainer type things. Think of all the teachers, think of all the educators, think of all the principals, that somehow they've got to move into this world so that they can then transfer that knowledge to that generation coming up. That's the structural challenges that we have.
Right, and they have these competitions called hackathons. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Something like that, where you can have competition, innovative competition sort of conferences where you can get young people involved and have them come up with innovative solutions to a problem, and see what kind of ideas that they can come up with and make it a competition type of thing. So yeah, those are things that we can do.
Yeah, because see, one of the things when I've spoken to young people, I was asked them, what are the issues that you want to address in your community? Given that you're a learning institution, you live in the neighborhood, what are the issues, environmental, or obviously there's economic, but are you making best use of the resources that you have?
And listen to their solutions, because they've got
absolutely, because
give them the chance.
Give them a chance so it can be scaled up with impact. But somehow we have to
provide that forum for them.
Provide the forum, but the pathways. So regardless of your humble origins in the neighborhood, you can access, if you've got the skill, the ability, the desire, and to drive, that has to be put in place.
I did
Processes.
I did a show with a young person here in Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
an under 30 young lady who is a horse trainer. Okay, she's a horseback riding instructor, and it was really interesting the things that she was telling me
Mm-hmm.
about her being from America, having been a horseback riding instructor in America, and now coming to Kenya and becoming a horseback riding instructor here, and how she saw how the Kenyans treated their horses and maintained their horses.
Mm-hmm.
She had a lot of, I want to say, I would say constructive criticism that she felt she could offer.
Mm.
And watch for that show. That's going to come up.
Yeah.
On the
And did
Jamaica Diaspora show.
she indicate to you what she learned from the Kenyans?
Well, here, actually, I got more from her in terms of what she had to offer. She didn't feel that the care that should be given to a horse is provided here in Kenya.
Mm.
She felt that there's a desperate need to improve the care of the horses.
Yeah.
She also felt that a um, there's barriers that prevent, you know, a well connected horse facility from obtaining quality horses.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
you know, so she has some very
mm.
significant experience, and she's got 4 horses, you know, that she brought here from America. Okay.
All right.
And
Excellent.
and these horses are well bred, and not, I want to say, they cost significant.
Oh, of course. So as we're coming down to the last few moments, couple of moments, first of all, do you plan to return to Africa, most importantly?
Yes, yes, as soon as I can. I will, because I've had the opportunity to connect with a doctor who is working with the Minister of Health
Yeah.
in Tanzania, and he's working on improving healthcare, and he has embraced some of the principles that I offered him or described to him in utilizing Lean Six Sigma as a means to improve the workforce. So in that regards, we are discussing right now how we can do that.
Yeah, which is great, because we know in terms of transformation, system transformation, that's the starting point if we're going to reach those goals. And as we know, particularly when it comes to health, there's 3 goals that don't really change. The first is the delivery of high quality care. And of course, developing countries, just like everybody else, want to move to a system that's easy accessible, so it's universal. And then of course, always the third goal of sustainable services, you know, your finances, your people, etc. So that's great. So lastly then, Mark, what's your message for people of African descent all around the world, whether you're in UK, Europe, Americas, wherever you are in the world?
Well, I guess I would say, because you and I, we've both been involved, significantly in the Jamaican diaspora. Okay. And, and, in the way in which, Jamaica sees its Jamaicans in the diaspora as a commonwealth, I would like and hope that people of African descent all over the world, you know, begin to see ourselves as the Commonwealth, you know, people to Africa, and the skills that we have and the knowledge that we have, that we could take those skills and knowledge back to the homeland, the motherland, and in the same way that we're doing, and because we attend these conferences biannually, in fact, we met at a conference where we were sharing our diaspora skills and expertise. That we do this, you know, at a global level, from people of African descent all over the world, wherever we are, you know, that we can utilize the knowledge that we've attained in this world, bring it back to Africa, and help to develop the rich resources that we have here.
And you raised such an important point, because the United Nations actually designates the African diaspora as the 6th region. And at some point in the generations to come, that will be transformed with a clear conceptual framework, structures, and actually deliver, you know, the good and well-being that communities need wherever they are, whatever their backgrounds. So great. And look forward to catching up with you again soon, and have a good trip back, and you take care.
All right, thanks. And I just want to commend you, Rudy, and all you're doing. I want to, you know, recognize you for your work as the Goodwill Ambassador, and all that you do. And thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you all.
Okay, take
Goodbye.
care.